The Gorecast is brought to you by American Horrors, the greatest uncut horror channel in the world. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all horror. As well as the station of decapitation without your head.
America's longest running horror channel, www.withoutyourhead.com.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday night, which means it's Buzz and Carter show. I almost said Giz, but he's not here. So, yeah. So how is everybody doing tonight? We have a franchise review for you guys. We're going to go over the Crow franchise, the goods and the bads of that franchise. Yeah, especially towards the tail end of the films. We got a couple of news bits to go through as well. But before I do that, see how my buddy Carter is doing tonight. So how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing good. I watched Tiger King on Sunday night as per request from the Deadly One. And my life is different. That's all I could say.
Oh, my God. Yes, it is, dude. I saw your post. We were talking about it, so I hurried up and I took binging to a whole new level, dude. I killed that shit like one day, and I was like, that was way too much information. And
as soon as the words left Johnny's lips, as soon as they left Johnny's lips of this is what we're doing on Thursday, I started playing it, and I did not stop. I watched all 8 episodes, one go through. And
I have a whole new outlook on like people in life. I'm not gonna lie.
All I can say is, audience, Thursday is gonna be a motherfucking trip.
Oh, and I'm so looking forward to it, dude.
One thing I'm gonna say real quick is I don't know if you have in front of you or maybe our studio editor has anything. Is I don't have anything in front of me, so if anybody's commenting, I can't see it. So
I'm trying to pull up the page. It's just taking a few minutes to load.
Okay. So if anybody pops in, I'll hear about it somewhere because I only have one way with being on Facebook. I have used my phone as a camera, so I can't really see any comments. So, but I guess since we got that out of the way, we can go into the news stories. Got a couple of news bits here. There's one that I'm going to go into is a movie release. A Godzilla knockoff is being released on DVD today called Reija, God of the Monsters. No ripoff of Godzilla whatsoever. Little bit about the movie is it says that global warming leads to excess sieve melting of the southern polar ice caps, disrupting Earth's ecosystem. The receding icebergs, long dormant ancient sea creatures back to life. Monsters that set their sights on Japan. Among the kaiju is the enormous sea monster locals refer to as Raijia. The monster attacks the city, bringing death and destruction as he tramples through buildings and lays waste to the military. Can Raijia be stopped, or will Japan be destroyed by his fury? So yeah, that's Raijia, I believe is how it's said.
I'll take your word for it.
I watched the trailer a little bit ago earlier today, and yeah, it is legitimately a Godzilla ripoff. He looks exactly like Godzilla.
Oh my God, yes, dude.
Besides a couple little features of like his spikes on the back looks slightly different, and his little hand spikes. Other than that, it's legitimately Godzilla.
Oh, that's the only reason why I'm watching it, dude, because it's like that close enough. I saw the trailer when you showed it to me. I was like, yeah, I'm watching that.
But yeah, so it actually hits DVD as of today. So I think our guy in the truck has the trailer. So if he wants to go ahead and show everybody the trailer, here is the trailer for Regia. Oh my god. Okay. So we don't have a trailer. We just have an image, so you can see it somewhere. Um, what we have, what we have here is a failure to communicate.
What I liked about it was the what'd you call it, Regia?
That's
God
what
of Monsters.
yes.
But we have that whole King Kong, Godzilla, King of Monsters coming out whenever this whole pandemic thing ends. So I kind of thought it was funny that they went with that whole God of Monster versus King of Monsters thing. Like they were taking every like liberty they could without like copyright infringement kind of thing.
It's really like I don't know how they're able to get away with it, because looking at like the artwork alone, it's like,
I mean, like
how
you think of all of the sci-fi films that have come out, though. You know, like you had the blockbuster, what was that, like Asteroid, and then they came out with like fucking Meteor or
yeah,
some shit. Like they've always
or like
been able
Armageddon,
to,
Deep Impact.
right? So like they've always been able to skirt the fucking copyright line.
See, I get that part where like being similar you know, plots and stuff like that, but legitimately this monster is a complete ripoff of
Oh yeah,
the likeness of Godzilla.
yeah. This is definitely like a sci-fi original kind of like, look how close it is, but it's not. So, but like close enough to where I'm like, oh, fuck, giant Godzilla ish. Yeah, I'll watch it. Fuck it. So
this is where we're going to be like, yes, go buy it on DVD. It comes out today on April 14th. I'm sorry.
Fuck yes.
So moving on to the next news story. AMC will be starting on May 4th. Excuse me. We'll be playing season 1 of Creepshow from Shudder's Creepshow. Season 1 will be debuting on AMC starting Monday, May 4th. I did not watch Creepshow on Shudder, so I'm actually probably going to be checking this out.
I did. It's, you know, man, like I grew up on like the old Creepshow, and it was cool. I thought that they did a really good job. Like the season seems really short, but the stories were really good.
Now, I don't know, was there like a season 2 like announced for it coming out, or was it just
No, not yet.
Yeah.
And you know, like it came out in like, what was it, like 2019? And
Yes.
now we're kind of frozen with the whole production thing. I don't know really when season 2 is going to come out. I just happened to trip over it because for a second it was on Amazon, and so I like binged the whole thing on Amazon. And dude, it was cool. Like they did like the whole movie thing where like you kind of floated back from the comic as an intro, stuff like that. So they really tried to kind of keep it to that core Creepshow ness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's kind of an interesting like move by AMC. I don't know if this was their plan from the beginning, or if maybe just because of the pandemic and not having the ability to film a lot of their stuff, they're just like, all right, well, maybe we should just find something that's new that we can kind of throw up that wasn't on, you know, actual TV. It was through Shudder and stuff like that. So
right.
if that's the case, that's a pretty smart thing, because it's something new that maybe not everybody has seen, because not everybody might not have Shudder. So I mean, it's an interesting thing if that's the way they do it. I don't know if they originally, because this is the first I ever heard of them doing this. So if it is because of that, because I know Walking Dead and a lot of the other shows filming got delayed and postponed and stuff because of everything. So it's a pretty smart idea from AMC. From what it looked like, they already had the schedule printed out through like when it's going to be played. It looks like it's going to play like 2 or 3 episodes every Monday night until they get through the season.
Which kind of sucks because the season's real short. I think it's only like 6 episodes.
So it'll probably only be for
maybe 8. But yeah, so no, it'll go really quick if they decide to do it that way. But definitely worth checking out and hoping for a second season on that one.
So yeah, so that's May 4th. So a little less than a month away. On Monday nights, we will start seeing Creep Show on AMC.
Nice.
So other than that, that should be about it for the news bits for our show. So let's get on to doing some movie review and franchise. The Crow.
I gotta say, on my half, like this was a brilliant fucking call on your part, dude, to do the whole Crow marathon. I watched one like I don't know how many times.
I'll second that. I am pretty brilliant, so I'll second that. I'll second that notion. The Crow, the original movie, is one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. As you might be able to see, I got the movie poster right there behind me, hanging on the wall. Such a great movie. The franchise in total, and then we'll kind of get into it as we touch on to each individual movie. It has its up and downs, but
it definitely did not do as good as, like, say, a lot of the other franchises did.
Yeah, and I mean, the people who don't know, I mean, this is kind of obviously an infamous story with the first movie. This was Brandon Lee's last movie. He did die in the making of the movie, the original. There was a lot of rumors that it might not have actually gotten made, but they did end up pushing through and releasing it, which thank God they did, because like I said, the first movie is just, everything about it is beautifully shot. Just such a great movie.
Well, and I'm kind of intrigued because it's one of those films like, say, Poltergeist, that has constant rumors floating around about it. You know, when did he die? How did he die? Stuff like that. And so the movie being as awesome as it is, I also like just dug kind of going into that whole rumor-based part of it.
Yeah, so the first movie came out in 1994. Like we said, it stars Brandon Lee as Eric Draven. He is a musician who is murdered with his fiancée on Devil's Night, and he is resurrected by the powers of the Crow to avenge him and his fiancée's murder. It takes place set in Detroit, which is very, very close to me, about an hour away from where I live. Obviously, it wasn't shot in Detroit, but was set in Detroit. Eric comes back and has a couple of guides in a way that help him. Sarah, who was a friend of his fiancée, is a young girl. And then he also befriends Sergeant Albrecht, who was played by Ernie Hudson of Ghostbusters fame. They kind of help him, not so much at the beginning because they don't know, what everything is going on. We're like supposed to be dead. But after a while, as things kind of get on, they kind of try to help him in, realizing what, like, because I know Albert stayed with his fiancée Shelley after they died. He died, I believe. The officer with her like the whole time, and there's the one scene where he kind of like touches his forehead because he was able to like kind of get those visions. He touches his forehead and was able to see through his eyes like that he stayed with her and all the pain, all the pain and everything that she was going through. And then pretty much this movie is just Eric Draven kicking some ass.
But dude, the cast of characters is just fucking awesome, though.
Oh yeah, we got T-Bird, we got Skank, we got Tintin, Fun Boy. These are all the guys who kind of work for Top Dollar, who is in a way the main baddie.
And for me, like Michael Wincott is just a phenomenal actor. Like I don't know, man. He played the best bad guy in that movie. You know, he's calm, he's collective. Like I don't know, like he was just he created such a great character for that film.
Yeah, and like just the way with this movie is it's just because if people who don't know, this was taken from a graphic novel. One of the, I wouldn't say it was obviously as super successful as some of the future, comic book esque movies, but probably one of the first kind of big, comic book movies.
Dude, I had such high hopes because you can look and you can see where a lot of comic book movies have come out and just didn't really have that same kind of punching power as the comic did. And I thought the first Crow film they did, because I've read a lot of Omar.
Everything about it is beautiful. It's almost like making it look like it's black and white. It's almost like it is a graphic novel in real life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And just the way that they did that, and just the whole message of the movie was just like very powerful.
And then you have the music behind all of those.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck,
great music. That's the one thing that this franchise did very well was the soundtracks. Not just for the first film, but like at least the first 3 films, because God, I don't want to talk about part 4, but are amazing. The scores are amazing, and this one is top notch.
I agree and disagree. Like when we get to the third film, my opinion kind of differed a little bit, but for as far as the first film, the music was fucking on point.
Yeah. So kind of going through the movie, Eric is pretty much going through all Top Dollar's guys. He goes through Tintin first, kind of uses his knives to bring him to his demise.
And that was
I really
did it.
This movie just had so many great lines, just like little one-liners and stuff like that, where like he's got Tintin and he's kind of like he pulls out one knife, he's like, "Victims, aren't we all?" and just stabs them, and then just
okay, like you said, there was so many great lines. You think about the what the fuck's it called? The pawn shop where he was
just gonna get into that. Yeah.
You know, like you said, dude, like there was so many lines that like they just had so much weight to them, and as he delivered them, it meant so fucking much to each scene.
He sat there and he kind of took like all these rings, he was throwing them at Gideon. He's like, each one of these rings are alive that you helped destroy. And just like you said, the weight of everything that Eric Draven and a lot of these characters say, just it's amazing. And then just like the whole, my favorite part is the scene with Fun Boy when he goes up to Fun Boy's house and he's comes in and he's like let me tell you. He goes, he's like he shoots him and then he was like to Fun Boy's like, Jesus Christ, and then he's like, Jesus Christ, stop me if you heard this one. Jesus Christ walks into a bar and he's just shooting him. He's like, he asked for 3 nails. And then I just love that whole scene. He's like, don't you ever fucking die?
Oh my God. So like, good. This is a film that I could talk about for hours and still never say enough good about it. Like it was just phenomenal. Cast, music, cinematography. Like it's like if you've not seen it, I don't know what fucking rock you're hiding under.
Yeah.
You know, it's a must see to me anyways. if you're just into films and you're, even if like say, because I think this kind of falls under fantasy, even if that's not your bag, to me this is like a must see, just for the, oh god, man, just for how fucking awesome it is.
Yeah, like I remember when I was younger, because like this movie came out, I was like 9 originally when it came out. So like I obviously didn't see it right when it came out, but like as soon as I really got to the age, I can like thank my uncle for this one because he had the VHS back in the day and I borrowed it all the time. As soon as I kind of got into it and sucked into it, like I remember using like certain lines of the movie as like my ringtone for my cell phone. Like my phone would ring and it'd be like, Jesus Christ, walks into a bar. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. I'm like, I'm not answering the phone because I just want to hear the line from the movie.
It was just fucking brilliant.
Yeah. So, like I said, he's going through all the guys. He gets to the last one of the main group was Skank. He gets to him and he thinks because when him and his girlfriend or fiance are murdered, there's only four or five guys like in the apartment when he's murdered. So he thinks Skank is the last guy. He's took out Tintin. He took out Fun Boy. He took out T-Bird. T-Bird, there you go. And he thinks Skank is the last guy because those were the guys that were actually in the apartment that actually did the murder. So he kills Skank, and then we find out that like towards the end, he Top Dollar and a couple of his associates. I'm trying to look at the list of names. The chick and his like bodyguard. I can't think of what their names are right now. Micah. She's the chick, and then I can't like his big bodyguard dude. I can't remember what his name is. I'm looking at the cast and I don't know which one is who. But so yeah, they kidnap Sarah towards the end. And like this is kind of something that me and Johnny were talking about, where it's kind of like Tony Todd. Why did I not think of that? So it's George or Grange. Grange is his name. So I just saw it there. So there's Grange, Mika, and Top Dollar, the last three. They kidnapped Sarah, and like I was say, me and Johnny were kind of like talking about this previous. You think like that was the one thing that kind of didn't make a whole lot of sense for this movie is his tie to Sarah. There really should have been no tie because his mission was to avenge his and his fiance's death, which you pretty much with him killing Skank, you thought he did. So you started to kind of lose his powers because he thought he was done. But then, like I said, the three of them kidnap Sarah, so he starts to hunt him down. I'm going to kind of get towards the end here. Go ahead. So he's hunting him down, and he finds out pretty much. He finds out while trying to rescue Sarah that Top Dollar is kind of the head baddie. Nothing in the town happens without his say so. So Top Dollar does tend to be his final, adversary to go after. He does that and this ties into what I mentioned a little bit earlier with Albert's memories of staying with Sarah as she's in the hospital room. He puts his hands up to Top Dollar's head and it's like, here's all the pain, 30 hours and, of suffering all at once, and he kind of just drops them and he goes through that was a really great scene too, where he goes through that gargoyle the water's coming out, but then the blood's coming through the water.
The were just top fucking notch.
Yeah, just great.
As far as their thing, I think it was for me anyways, it was that connection that he had with his girlfriend and the connection that Sarah had with her. That's their kind of bonding, like she wouldn't have wanted to see harm go to Sarah. So it's my mission now to make sure no harm comes to Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah, that does make sense. So, I could see the tie there. So, but like I said, if you haven't seen the movie, when you're done watching us first, then go and watch the movie because it is absolutely phenomenal. And I believe we have a trailer to watch. So this is the trailer for The Crow, starring Brandon.
Devil's Night is upon us again. Throw a little party, start a bunch of fires, make a little profit.
When someone's dead, they can't come back, can they?
That's what I thought. Are you referring to anyone in particular?
You know, my daddy used to say, every man's got a devil. You can't rest till you find him.
Winked at me before he jumped out a fourth-floor window like he had wings.
The crow is his link between the land of the living and the realm of the dead.
So you killed the crow.
Caw, bang, I'm dead!
The devil stood and felt how awful goodness is. You felt how awful goodness.
So that was the trailer for 1994's The Crow, starring Brandon Lee.
I do think
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's important to, like, this isn't just a supernatural kind of come back to life thing. The whole thing about The Crow is it's a revenge justice story. Like, this individual's been wronged and they get that chance to kind of make
There's
things
a
right.
to it.
Right.
And it's not like they stay alive forever. It's once their job is done, they're back to being dead.
And I kind of feel like when you're talking about The Crow, like, that's the important part. Like, it's not just I'm getting some revenge. It's like, you've been wronged. And in the Crow spot, it was some developer trying to get a building. They happen to be still in it. And so it's easier to kill two people and sell off a building. It's like that level of being wronged in life.
Yeah. So moving on, we have The Crow, City of Angels, which was released in 1996, starring Vincent Perez.
Fuck those.
Yeah, this is this is a hard one. The Vincent Perez stars as Ash. The way the story here goes is him and it's gotta catch them all. He and his son are witness to a murder by a group of Los Angeles thugs, and once they witness it, they not say kidnap them, but the thugs. This stars Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop is in this movie, and he's absolutely insane. That's all I gotta say too.
The only thing they had was Iggy Pop and fucking Thomas Jane.
I was when I first started to get into this, I was like, son of a bitch, this is another Thomas Jane movie that we're going to be talking about.
Right. I mean, like, Richard Brooks becomes a well-known actor later on, but really, like, Thomas Jane and Iggy Pop was the only thing this movie had fucking going for it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I got sidetracked. I was trying to tell a story. So yeah,
Sorry.
so they no, not you. I sidetracked myself talking about Iggy Pop. I don't know why. Like, I just looking down at my notes, I saw Iggy Pop, and then it just popped in my head. So yeah,
I did
go
love
ahead.
his character though.
Yeah, he was insane. So Ash and his son are being held by gunpoint by the gang, and they the chick, which her name is Kali, I believe, as it says here. She goes up to Judah, who is kind of like the top dollar in this movie. He's the guy that's in charge of everything. He's like, oh, we got these two witnesses. What about the boy? And they're just like, leave no witnesses. So they go up and shoot both of them, killing them both. And then
dropping them in like the harbor.
Yeah, because they're the way that they're wherever they were living. It was set up by like the harbor or some like lake or something like that. So they just dumped their bodies. They tied them up and dumped their bodies in the water, leave them for dead, or well, they are dead. And then we get a recurring. We get a recurring character in Sarah, the young girl from part 1. She moves out of Detroit, moves to LA, becomes a tattoo artist. She's kind of like the connection for Ash once he is resurrected, and kind of like, explains to him what his purpose is, why he's back. And
I kind of felt like that was a downside to this one.
Yeah, because it's like, besides her, kind of knowing what happened with Eric, there's really it's almost like they tried to make her a love interest.
Right. In a weird not way.
It really wasn't necessary, I didn't think. And it's like, I get the fact of having her in there to be like that guide to kind of, she's been through it once with Eric. She kind of knows what the whole purpose. Never thought there'd be another, Crow. But kind of put him on the right track of what he had to do. But it's like, after that, it's like, that should have been all she really needed to do. She like I said, they almost tried to make her like a love interest, and it kind of took away from her to me.
Yeah, no, it really did, dude. Yeah.
But just like, pretty much just like the first movie, he goes through the group of people that were there when him and his son were killed. You got Kali, Curve, Nemo, and Spider-Man. Some great adult names right there.
Richard Brooks is the main bad guy.
Yeah, he's Judah. He was a trip. Like I don't know if I want to say he was Top Dollar. I think was better, but I thought he did a fairly good job as Judah.
He did good in like this film, but like, I guess my problem with it was like, they did this weird, like, not post-apocalyptic, like, we're stabbing people in the fucking middle of the street and there's like no cops to be found. There's just like this weird anarchy kind of vibe, and it's shot so dark. I had trouble connecting to this one, to where it's like 2 minutes into the first one, I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? This one, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, they really like turned up the characters to 10. Like in the first movie, they were out there, but they were grounded in reality. Exactly. Right. But this one, they turned them up to, like I said, to 10. And it was like these don't seem like they're like, I'm not, obviously drugs and all that shit that they were into could probably do that to people. But this one seemed more, it was almost like, for me, borderline like Hellraiser. Yeah. Because you think about it, when we're in, what do you say, Noah's headquarters, you've got like chicks that are just like in like S&M outfits standing in cages. Yeah. And he's all like, my pleasure is pain. Like, they just so amped up characters. Yeah. And the thing with this one is it was also shot in such a different contrast to the original, where the original being so dark and gritty, this one was a lot brighter. Not like super bright, but like it was more of like a goldish, yellowish tone, and with a lot weird, more foggy, almost like there was like a fog. Yeah, I was gonna say, with that weird fucking haze that they had. Yeah. And which was cool. and it almost seemed like it was trying to not be the first movie look wise, and there was some great scenes, like the scene that Ash resurrects from the water was like really good, like him coming up from the water.
Like yes and no, like it looked cool until he was like fucking Jesus and standing on the water. Like,
Yeah,
I understood the whole like he like struggled and he shoots up out of the water, but now like all of a sudden we're doing like this cool fucking pose and he's standing on it. Like, the fuck's going on here? You know?
And I know with this one it was going to be very, very hard to compare to the original, because there's just no comparing.
Yeah, no. Right.
And I know the
anytime the sequel, it's gonna fucking hurt comparing to the first one.
And I know the people that wanted to make the movie wanted to make it a lot more epic. They wanted it to be like a 2-hour movie, and they wanted to get away from as much comparison to the first movie as possible. But then the movie company were like, no, just pretty much remake the first movie. And then that's what they ended up doing.
And like that's the weird part, because it was like remake the first movie but go like hard left.
Yeah.
You know.
So definitely, if you're a fan of the franchise, I definitely would give it a watch. But it's to experience it if you haven't seen it. I mean, if you have, then obviously don't bother. But it's like, it's interesting, but not the best of the franchise.
But like as a franchise goes, where you're like watching, say, Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween or Lethal Weapon, a lot of the information tends to transfer over to the second film. The odd thing is, which I kind of liked, as far as like reading the comics, each of these films are technically a standalone. I mean, yeah, we brought Sarah over, but it was a different story. You know, like she showed him like, oh, hey, let's do the Crow makeup. But if you remove her, it's like a standalone film on its own kind of thing.
Which, I mean, I like that aspect as of just, using all the same characters and stuff like that. So I kind of like that aspect as it being a different story that ties into the universe.
Right.
But just, I don't know, just the way that they did it. Like I said, the characters, like they did great jobs in the world, but like just the characters, like I said, they were turned up too much to make it like very cartoonish and unrealistic. And it was a great effort. Like I said, Vincent Perez was pretty good as Ash. I actually enjoyed him as Ash, but just
Richard Brooks, dude, I dig him. He's done stuff in like Firefly, The Crow 2. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, had we dialed it back just a touch, like the first one, obviously fantasy, some guy coming back from the dead, revenging himself. But the second one is definitely like you said, amped up to 10. Now all of a sudden we're all supernatural. We're all like, it just got really fucking weird.
Yeah. So, but that's about all we have on that. So we have a trailer for. Say hello to everybody in the chat. Katie McNeil, Jer Hanley, Stephen. It doesn't sound like I'm being told any of this right here. So, but like I said, I can't see the chat, so I can't say hi to anybody. So let's get.
People once believed that when someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead. But sometimes the crow can bring that soul back to put the wrong things right. I thought that Eric was the last. I never imagined there would be another.
It's another time. It's another world. And another has been chosen.
Hello, we are back. That was the Crow City of Angels trailer, released in 1996, and the second movie in the Crow franchise. Like I said, okay movie, but probably,
yeah, definitely.
I would almost say my least favorite, but Wicked Prayer. Ooh.
Okay, see, there we go. All right.
But before we get into Wicked Prayer, we got one more. We got The Crow Salvation.
Wicked Prayer, dude.
Which was released in the year 2000, and it was and it starred Eric Mabius as.
And I dig the shit out of Eric Mabius.
He was more known for like TV acting, not a big like at least at this time,
or TV movie acting.
Yeah,
right.
Which in a way that kind of works, because like this was the one like kind of detractor for me for this one is it did seem very made for TV movie the way it was shot.
Now, for anybody that remembers, like he did, what was that? Resident Evil 1.
Yeah, he was in the first one. Yep.
I will give though, like consecutively, the only thing I will like give all of the films is they did a really good job for casting. You know, like I said, like you said, you got Eric Mabius, William. Oh God,
Kristen Dunst was in here.
Right.
Fred Ward, William Atherton,
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins. Yeah.
Okay. Again, so like they've been really consistent on finding like really good cast members to put into not so great sequels.
Yeah, like okay, so with Salvation, the thing is the way this movie goes is Alex Corvus is set up for the murder of his fiance or his girlfriend, same thing. And he's actually executed 3 years later after her death, which is going into this like I liked this premise.
Yeah.
Because it was different than the whole we were killed and me and a significant other child, fiance were killed. We got to avenge them. This is something where it's like it's different. So Alex is executed for the murder of his girlfriend, but while you see these during flashbacks, when after his girlfriend's murder, someone tries to set him up, and he's sitting in his truck, and you see like an arm kind of go in his window, drop a knife, but all you see is these scars on the guy's arms, but you don't really see anything else. And then next thing you know, Alex is knocked out by somebody punching him from the window where he's at. His car,
pretty much.
Yeah, and so then they set him up for the murder. So like the whole thing with this one is it's like a whodunit. You don't know who actually murdered her. All we go by is the man with the scar. And that's what he constantly is talking about is the man with the scar, the man with the scar. Nobody believes him.
Well, except for his lawyer.
Yeah, everybody but his lawyer doesn't believe him. And then so he comes back and befriends his girlfriend's sister by Kristen Dunst, and her name's Erin. He befriends her and tries to, tell her that, I didn't do it. I was set up. There's the man with the scar. And slowly after that, it starts to unravel that there's a crooked group of cops that set up Alex. They murdered Lauren, and they tried to set him up because Lauren ended up seeing some kind of one of their deals going on, and she was going to report it. So they had to put a stop to that. So they murdered her and set Eric up, or Alex up, as Eric is the name of the actor. They set Alex up as the person who murdered them. So, like I said, the whole movie is him pretty much unraveling the whole web of deceit between this group of cops and him trying to find out who the man with the scar is. Going throughout the movie, it's actually set up once he gets to, I think, one of the last guys. This is the one thing, and it's like I told you guys before, I've seen these movies so much in the past, I know about them fairly well, but I haven't watched them in a while. So, like, tracking everything in progression, I can't remember. But once he gets to one of the last guys in the group, he's blown up, I think, is like in an apartment or something like that. There's a arm sitting in like the rubble that has the scars. So he thinks, oh, I just killed the man with the scar. So he thinks that the whole thing's up and that he's completed his mission. When in all reality, the man with the scar ends up being Fred Ward's character, Captain John, and they find that out towards the very end, because they find the arm and they find out that it's, a fake arm that they planted to make him think that the last person he was trying to kill was dead. So like I said, I really like this, like the whodunit aspect of this one is like all of them are kind of, the Crow himself doesn't know all the people, but us as an audience, at least in the first two movies, we know who killed them. This one, we're following along with Alex as he's trying to figure out who is behind it all. And I like that. The only thing is, to me personally, this movie has the weakest characters.
Thank you. Okay.
That's why when I was saying I was trying to remember things, I don't remember anybody's name because nobody stood out to me.
Okay, well, and I watched it like a few hours ago, like right before the show, because like I said earlier, I've watched the first one like 100 times, dude. My kid became of age, and I was like, dude, you gotta fucking watch this. And it was more of a punishment. And I'm like, oh, and by the way, we're gonna watch like the next 3. I dug this one. Like it's a weird, like I'm on the fence because like you said, we don't know who the bad guy is for the first time, and so I really dug being on the fence with this one. It's that whole murder mystery, who done it, shit like that. But in the same sense, like the characters are so like, I don't know, weak, weird.
They're a very generic crooked cops.
Right.
So they don't stand out. Besides Fred Ward. Fred Ward was pretty good. Of Tremors fame. But other than that, and then Eric and Kristen Dunst's character. But other than that, the rest of the characters are all just.
See, and I would even go as far as like Kristen Dunst was like kind of.
She had her moments.
She did, like, I mean, but her character, like her as an actress, not so much, but her character, yeah, like it progressed the story. But I don't really know if, like, Kristen Dunst or Jane Doe could have done better or worse, if that makes sense.
Yeah. This was an early role for her, too. It was before she really kind of broke out.
Right. But I think my biggest problem with it is the weird, like, fucking Jedi mind trick that he pulls on the Crow. Fred Ward does.
Yeah.
It's like we see the arm, so we think we're done. And part of the thing with the Crow is if you take damage, you regenerate, you heal. And so what I liked was in this one, Alex learned like right off, real quick, that he can take damage and heal. He hopped a fence that had barbed wire, his hands are all shredded, and he's like, we and him watch his hands heal, and he's like, oh, well, fuck, all right. He's cornered by cops on both sides, so he just takes a fucking header off the bridge because he knows, well, fuck it, I'm gonna heal. And then you get to like later on in the film, like you said, we see the arm, we think we've got the bad guy, and then like Fred Ward does this whole weird ass Jedi mind trick of like, oh, well, you're not as good of a guy. No, I'm not as good of a guy. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, dude?
Yeah, it was weird because like didn't they catch the bird, or I'm trying to remember, like the crow. I'm trying to remember if that's the second
Yeah.
one.
The crow, the crow got hurt and stuff, but
So he
definitely
started kind of.
not in the same sense as like the second film where like we captured the crow and like pegged it to a fucking board. This was more like Fred Ward was like, "Oh, so you're a bad guy?" "No, I'm not." "No, you are. Look at all the fucking innocent people you killed." "Oh my god,
And
I'm a
then
shit person." You know, and so like I dug it because it was definitely different, but it was like it got kind of weird towards the end. Like we didn't know what we were doing story wise.
yeah, and it's like one as soon as like Fred Ward's character kind of told him, it was me, I'm the man with the scar. Then he kind of like rejuvenated. It's almost like he had that second life and was
Right.
able to finish the job off. And they ended up electrocuting Fred Ward, and same way Eric was killed, or Alex was killed. I keep wanting to say Eric because it's the actor's name. Same way Alex is killed, and he like explodes and set on fire, and like the whole scar thing, blood started. It was kind of a over dramatic death of the final boss, but yeah, that's kind of a
different in this one though.
Yeah,
Like,
and it was 2000,
like,
so like the
flow, where this was more of like a kind of, I don't want to say like hip hop, but it had more of like, like a faster beat. You had like Rob Zombie's Living Dead Girl and stuff like that. So we definitely like cranked up the music a couple notches too.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and cut to the trailer, and we'll kind of give our final thoughts on Crow Salvation. So here's the trailer for The Crow.
I want to be with you forever.
Only forever?
Come on.
The Crow legacy continues when a young man is wrongfully accused of murder.
Alexander Frederick Corvus, do you have any last words?
I loved Lauren. I'm innocent.
Now, with the guidance of the Crow, he sets out to find the killer.
Where did you come from?
I'll make sure everyone knows that you're innocent, that you loved her.
What do you want?
I want to know why. I can't be alive, not without you.
Eric Mabius, Kirsten Dunst. The Crow, Salvation.
We are back. And that was the trailer for Crow Salvation, which was released in 2000, starring Eric Mabius and Kristen Dunst of Kristen Dunst Things. I don't remember what else she's in. Oh, she was in Spider-Man. I don't know why. Yeah. There we go. Spider-Man 1 and 2. And then everything else is meaningless. So, yeah. Not the best, not the worst, because the worst is coming up next.
No, dude. I would have to like rank them. I would go 1, 3, 2, and 4.
I wouldn't even rank 4. It would just
no. I'm ranking 4 because the shitball that it deserves to fucking be acknowledged for. Like that was like me in my backyard with like a fucking camcorder.
Well, while we're on it, let's just briefly The Crow Wicked Prayer was released in 2005, starring Edward Furlong as the hot topic reject of The Crow.
In Terminator 2, by the way.
Yeah. We had David Boreanaz, which was promising, but not. Tara Reid was high off her tits on probably whatever she could shove up her nose. It was snorted, and then she was put on screen, and that's exactly what we saw.
Because David was coming off like what, Buffy or whatever the fuck that was at the time.
I don't remember because I don't know when that was out and what time frame. So it was around that time, though.
God.
We had Dennis Hopper doing his best character from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, but turned up to 10. This is the worst movie ever made. I'm just gonna say it right now. Not just The Crow, not just a horror movie, not any. This is the worst movie that somebody put on a disc on DVD.
This isn't just shitting on Crow. Like, this is like any format of making film bullshit.
I'm starting to get the vapors right now. This is how mad I'm getting. The reason why I have such disdain for this movie was I waited for a year for this film to come out. I bought it the day it came out on DVD. I put it in my DVD player. I wanted to my DVD player. Fucking hate this movie. Do not watch The Crow Wicked Prayer.
Unless you are like really into like some Sado fucking masochism.
The only reason I suggest you buy The Crow Wicked Prayer is if you're out of TP and you need something to wipe your ass with. Because I
wouldn't even give it that fucking benefit. Like, holy shit. What's bad to me is like, how the fuck do you get Danny Trejo and Dennis Hopper to fucking sign off on this shit? Furlong and I can never pronounce David's last name right.
Boreanaz.
Thank you. Or Tara Reid. Like, I fucking get it. You know, David above the other two, but like, I got to pay my fucking light bill. So I fucking get it. But Danny Trejo and Dennis Hopper, like, that baffled the shit out of me.
Tito Ortiz was in this movie for some reason.
Okay, but that motherfucker, like, I mean, he was another big name. He was like right up there with Ortiz or Hopper and Trejo. You know, he was a big name in MMA. Somebody knew somebody who was a mailman of his, so they fucking pitched
I seriously am clenching my computer chair like the arms. That's how angry I'm getting with this movie right now, and I haven't even watched it since 2005.
And fucking like DC Gray, like,
I wished.
Oh my god! Like, there's
I
like,
wish I was, because like,
why?
The girlfriend of Edward Furlong's character, she had her eyes poked out. I wish that was me in real life.
Oh fuck yes, dude. And okay, you know what? We can shit on this all day. The whole weird fucking deal about this was David Boreanaz was like trying to raise the devil, make a deal with the devil.
Well, they were the four horsemen of the apocalypse, of course.
Right.
And they were trying to resurrect the devil.
And that in itself was some shit, because like Tito Ortiz was war. You had a motherfucker that was playing like fucking pestilence. He's like sneezing and coughing into shit. And I'm like, this is like the shittiest version of the Four Horsemen possible. They're wearing like fucking sporting goods kind of armor. Like, dude, it was such a shit show.
So, underlying statement of this: fuck The Crow Wicked Prayer. Fuck it up, it's stupid ass. We're not even going to show you the trailer for this movie, because if I did, I would probably go to prison for some kind of like crime of putting you people through watching the trailer for this movie. So,
and I'm not even shit on Tito Ortiz, because he did a movie called Zombie Strippers, where he just played a bouncer and like literally stood there and had like one line in the entire movie. But I'm like, dude, you did Wicked Prayer. Fuck you. Yeah. Like, this is such a shit show.
Fuck the Wicked Prayer. And yeah, everybody that had anything to do with it.
And as far as like a director or a cat, when you're like, oh, dude, we need to get fucking Edward Furlong. You're
said
fired.
No one ever. Said no one ever. What the hell did Edward Furlong do in his life that needed to have him put in that movie? Yeah, he did Terminator 2 when he was like, what, 12?
Right.
Yeah, that movie was awesome. Not because of fucking Edward Furlong. I can tell you that for sure.
That was just like
I'm getting very throwing potato chips mad right now. Like, if I had a bag of chips, they'd be flying across the fucking screen right now, because that's how mad I'm getting.
Anytime I see a movie with him, I'm like, fucking why? Because if you remember, there was the old oh shit, what was that movie? Night of the Demons?
I don't know.
everybody stayed in like an old building, and like demons took over. They wound up remaking it with fucking Edward Furlong, and I'm like, fuck you! Like, I'm just not watching it because you put him in the fucking film. I don't mean to diss him as a person, but the fucker can't act. He did awesome at 12 when he was running from robots with a robot, but as an adult, the fucker cannot act.
Yeah. So we're gonna round this out because I'm getting like my blood pressure. I can literally feeling my blood pressure get higher in my body right now. So I'm gonna have a stroke on live stream. So we're gonna finish up. So all in all, The Crow is a great franchise as long as you erase Men in Black, Wicked Prayer out of your memory. Don't watch it. If you haven't watched it, you're lucky.
Fuck 4.
I'd say watch 1 through 3. Definitely watch 1 if you watch any of them. Obviously.
Oh God, yeah.
Definitely watch. But yeah, so that's about it. Any parting words for everybody before we get into the trailer for this week's Gorecast episode?
Fuck Furlong and fuck Wicked Prayer.
There we go.
Is that all I got?
Yeah, that's going to be the new hashtag. Everybody put hashtag. It's going to be a long hashtag. Hashtag fuck Edward Furlong and hashtag fuck Wicked Prayer. If I see that anywhere in social medias, I'll be a happy person.
Oh, that would be awesome. Other than that, what are the rest of the guys up to?
Well, that'll be it for us tonight. Thursday, oh boy, Thursday, we have the Tiger King.
Oh, fuck, that's right. That's this Thursday, isn't it?
We will be reviewing the Tiger King if Giz wants to or not. He doesn't have a choice in it.
I'm sorry, Giz, but I'm looking forward to
just come to that. Just come to the stream to watch Giz go absolutely apeshit crazy. And it'll be worth it. Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't know if we were going to say that because we wanted to save it. We are going to do a sing-along because Joe Exotic is the greatest country music artist on the planet. And this is coming from me because I have to say it. So I don't know. But yeah, we're going to sing along to one of Joe's infamous tunes. I forgot what the name of it is, but it's something to do with Carol Baskins killing her husband. And the audience will get to join it. It's going to be like a karaoke. We're going to do some karaoke, and we're going to sing. And it's going to be, I'm going to forget about having to talk about the Wicked Prayer. So I'm going to be happy. So you can catch the Gorecast. We are on our social media accounts. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Gorecast. So, but yeah, so Thursday we got that, and I have a pre-recorded message from Johnny to let you know about this Sunday's episode of the Gorecast. So I'm going to press my little button. Boop.
Join Johnny Deadly and the Giz this Sunday, 8:30 p.m. CST, and whatever that equates to is GMT. He's only on American Horrors.
He didn't unmute himself.
Where they're going to
push harder.
Assholes, I'm only muted on Skype. You've ruined the whole illusion. Anyway, join myself and the Giz this Sunday where we're going to be talking about some... Oh, God, you're after throwing me off completely now. You're after... Oh, I'm just going to play the trailer.
I'll be back in a sec. Giz is on Skype. What the fuck? Weird. Ah! Shit. Oh. I think I figured this out.
Where the snake have you been? I've been trying to call you for like the last 15, 20 minutes
I've
or
been
something.
having one weird fucking day.
Did it take you like a half an hour to get from your bed to the bathroom?
No, I kept reappearing in the hallway. What the? How do you know that?
Let's just say you were lucky.
Oh. Actually, that gives me an idea for an episode, though. Join myself in the Giz this Sunday, 8:30 p.m. CST, and whatever that equates to is GMTs, only on American Horrors, for a brand new episode where we're going to be talking about some time, temporal placement terrors to tickle your tantalizing taste buds.
Brought to you by the letter T.
For temporal.